Hey everyone. Happy Friday. My battery is dying on my phone, so I'm going to jump right into this and get going. So, welcome to the Periscope. I'm Jennifer Blanchard. I'm an author and a story coach. I work with serious emerging novelists who want to save time, cut years off their learning curve so they can write their stories faster and get them out into the world. So for the month of October, I've been doing National Novel Planning Month, and today is the final day that I'm going to be doing a video for this event. Officially, we start NaNoWriMo on Sunday, and we'll be writing our 50,000 words. So if you didn't catch any of the replays, if you want to see the replays, you can go to this link right here, catch.me/inkybytes, and get all of the replays from my videos this month, all about story planning. I know, 2 days, I'm so excited. Yeah, it's going to be a really good event this year. But the biggest thing and what I'm going to talk about today is distractions. So, doing your, you're so welcome. I'm glad that you enjoyed the events this month. So, good. Okay, so distractions. Big deal for Nano because you only have 30 days, you have a goal of 50,000 words, and you won't get there if you get distracted. So you have to stay focused every day, do your word count, and if you miss a day or two, you want to stay focused, get back on track. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about how I do that, and I hope that it will help you do the same thing. So, all right, the first thing is there's really 3 steps in the process of getting rid of distractions or in managing them in some way. So the first is you have to get clear on where you're getting distracted. So make a list of everything that stops you from doing your writing. So whether that's, events you have going on, people in your life who bug you to do things when you should be writing, the web, whatever it is that gets you distracted, write it down. Then take your list and I want you to categorize each distraction, whether it's a distraction at the page, so once you've sat down to start writing, you get distracted, or if it's a distraction getting to the page, meaning you aren't even sitting down to write because you're getting distracted before you get there. So separate them into 2 categories. Now, as far as the distractions getting to the page, those are things that, especially for the month of November, you're going to want to reduce in some way. So whether that's asking your friends to not invite you to stuff for the month, or whether that's getting buy-in from your family, give me 30 minutes to write every day, and during that time, no one's allowed to bother me or ask me questions or anything. You have to wait the 30 minutes, whatever. But you want to make sure you can reduce those as much as possible, because if you're distracted getting to the page, you're never going to actually sit down and do your word count for Nano. But if you're sitting down to write, so you're not distracted getting to the page, but then when you sit down, all of a sudden, there's a million other things that become much more interesting, or something you immediately think, oh, I have to do this right now. I can't wait anymore. All those tasks you put off forever all of a sudden become super important once you're getting ready to write. So the way to deal with those is, obviously reducing them as much as possible. What I like to do is I have a little checklist, and I have it on a Post-it note. So it's right by my computer, and I just have this little checklist, and it basically just goes through my main distractions and helps me power down so that as I work through the checklist, by the time I get to the end, I'm ready to write and I've got all my distractions managed. So for me, the biggest distraction is Facebook. So, I get on there, I have clients that I work with on private Facebook groups and all of that. So immediately when I sit down on my computer, my first thought is, I need to check my Facebook groups. I need to see what everyone's up to, see if any of my clients need me, etc. But if I'm doing writing time, that's not the time to be, on Facebook. So what I do is I set a timer for 10 minutes. Again, I have this little kitchen timer. You can use the timer on your phone, whatever is easier for you. I set it for 10 minutes. So for that 10-minute period, I'm allowed to check Facebook. I can check my email, whatever I need to do on the internet. I have 10 minutes to do it. And then once I'm done, once the timer goes off, I'm not allowed to do that anymore. So I stop. I close my browser down completely. So rather than minusing it, you still could hear the Facebook pings and telling you, hey, you have a message or whatever. I just turn the browser off completely. That's actually one of the little steps on my checklist. Is the first one is the 10 minutes of Facebook time. And then I actually go right into turning the browser off. Next, I make sure to turn the sound off on my computer. So I actually mute the sound so that I'm not hearing, alerts pinging me about things. I'm just staying focused on what I'm doing. And then I turn my music on. So I like to write with music. So this helps me stay focused and just inspired. So I'll turn my music on. I actually have a playlist for my story that I'm writing during Nano. So I'll pull that up and turn it on. And then I will set my timer again, this time for writing. So I usually do 20 minutes, sometimes 30, just depending on how much time I have or how much I feel like writing that day. And then the next thing that I do, which is the super important thing, I flip my phone face down. So I'm not looking at the screen. I'm looking at the back of the phone, because if I can see the screen, I'm going to see the Facebook alerts. So I'm going to see, text messages coming in from people, and that's going to stop me from doing the writing. So I flip the phone face down, and then I hit the timer and I get started writing. I use Scrivener, so that's a good program for me to do my writing, and I have it full screen so that I'm not seeing anything else going on in the background. And that's really what I do. So I would recommend, coming up with your own checklist based on what distracts you when you get to the page. So, maybe it's not Facebook for you. Maybe it's being on Pinterest or checking YouTube or your emails or whatever. Start by giving yourself, 5 to 10 minutes to just check that stuff when you first sit down. So that way you're not gonna, because the whole time, if you just tell yourself, I have to sit down and start writing, you're going to be thinking about Facebook nonstop or whatever it is that distracts you. But if you give yourself that 10 minutes of time to just check your Facebook, check all your messages, make sure that nobody needs you, you're all good to go, then you can really write without distraction, because you're not thinking about checking your Facebook because you already did that. So, 10 minutes to do that. And then, again, just close off the things that for you have to happen in order to stay distraction free. So for me, that's turning the sound off on my computer, flipping my phone face down, turning my music on, using my timer. So you may have different things, but the idea is to just figure out what's distracting you, and then using that to kind of work backwards and say, how can I manage these distractions as I'm doing my writing? Having the checklist really helps. Hello, Milan, Italy. How are ya? So that is my tip for helping with distractions. I hope that it's useful. Definitely something you have to kind of tweak as you go, but I find that for me, that's been the best process for, not being distracted during my writing, is to just let myself have that 10 minutes of time to just do what I need to do, not judge it, not tell myself I should be writing. It's like, no, just take the 10 minutes, do the stuff you want to do, because you're going to just think about it the whole time anyway. And then I can write without having to worry about, who's messaging me on Facebook or whatever. So I would love to hear some of your tips for how do you avoid distractions. So if you want to share some of those in the chat box, that'd be awesome. I'm going to wrap this scope up by just saying that it has been such a blast this month to have you on the scopes with me live, and for everyone who's been watching the replays. I am just such a story nerd. I love talking about story planning and writing, and so for me, this has been just so much fun to get to do this and to share this with you every day. So it's crazy that we're starting November 1st on Sunday. My next Periscope will be next week sometime. I don't have officially decided when yet, but definitely won't be every day anymore, because I'm going to be doing my writing. But I do want to check in and just kind of, do some motivation, talk about where I'm at with my writing, and hopefully we can kind of share where we're even at with our word count. So thank you so much for joining me for this Periscope and for the whole month of October and National Story Planning Month, or National Novel Planning Month, rather. If you didn't catch the replays, you can go to this link right here, catch.me/inkybites, and get all the replays. So if you still haven't planned your story, I actually did National Story Planning Day on Sunday, this past Sunday. There are 4 videos at this link all about National Story Planning Day, and there's actually a link to download a guide that you can use to plan your story. So if you, for some reason, haven't planned your nano story yet and want to, definitely check that out, because it will help you to know what to write before you sit down. Because for me, that's the biggest problem, is if I don't know what to write, I'm never going to get my word count done. So thanks for joining me, and I will catch you next week. Everybody have a fantastic weekend, and best of luck to all of the NaNoWriMoers out there. Thanks so much. Bye.